what question hasn't been asked that you think is important?
Oh, God. I suppose, well, I mean, we probably touched on it a little bit, but things that colleges don't teach you, or things that you wish you'd known before you get into the profession. As a horn player, obviously you grow up and you have a great time with all your friends, and it's a wonderful thing, and you go to college and it's still lovely, and you hit the profession and suddenly it's the real world. And things do change, and especially being principal horns, one of the things that I had never really expected to deal with, to the extent that you have to, is the politics that get involved in orchestras, and dealing with conductors and egos and different things, and all this sort of stuff that you'd think that the job is hard enough because you've got to concentrate on playing all the solos really well and the pressure that goes with it. But on top of that, there's a whole bunch of other things as well that no one really tells you before you suddenly get there. So I don't want to go too far into it, but it's just being prepared for stuff that you'd never thought you'd have to deal with. Suddenly you do. There you go. I don't know whether that's a good answer or not.
I think the most important thing for me is to just remember why I'm doing it, and remember why I play the horn. And I play the horn because I think it sounds really super cool. And like, not me, but just like the horn as an instrument. I just love the sound of the horn. I love the kind of tunes we get to play, and I love playing those tunes with other people. And being, so often I sit on the stage and I think, I can't actually believe I'm doing this. Like, I'm sat here playing these amazing music with like 80 of my friends. This is like so cool. And still, I've been doing it for 20 years, so you'd think I'd be getting like really old and cynical, but I still like stop myself and think, I'm actually doing this, and I'm actually getting paid to do this. This is really super cool. And I think the more you can remember to hold on to that, the easier stuff like the politics is, for sure. There's loads of that. Going to orchestra meetings, things to do with the musicians union, all this like negotiation, all of that I could really do without, but you have to deal with that because that's part of the job. But if you can remember why it is you're doing it and what you love about the horn and about music, then that kind of keeps you going.
That's a better answer than mine.
That's
really annoying.
This is going to be better now.
No, it's not. Well, funny enough, my answer was almost going to be exactly the same as what Elf has said now, so I'm going to answer a slightly different question. But it is worth just reinforcing what Elspeth just said there about the sentence that I think I've probably said out loud most to my RNCM students over the time that I've been teaching there is, do you not remember when you used to enjoy playing the horn? And it's slightly scary how easily that goes. And remembering why we're doing this, that the horn is just the best thing there is. I mean, we could play the oboe. So that's the answer I would have given if Elspeth hadn't given such a brilliant answer. However, to specifically answer the question, what question hasn't been asked tonight that I think should be asked, is, funnily enough, a question that I think a few of you had asked about university versus music college, which appeared quite a few times on the list that we were sent through, and it's not something that we've touched on, and it's something that I feel I've got a relatively unique take on. And it's worth saying now that if there are any of you that are wrestling with this at the moment who would like to speak with me in more detail about this at some point during the next few days, please just come and find me in a quiet corner and we'll have a chat. I did the joint course between Manchester University and the RNCM, and the reason that I wanted to do that was because of the composing and the arranging, but also I love the academic side of music. I really love music history, I love harmony and counterpoint, I love the analysis, I love set theory and all the the kind of scientific side of it as well, and acoustics and the whole lot. So for me, music college wasn't going to be enough, and I knew that at the time, but I also knew that playing was going to be a massive part of what I wanted to do, and so university wasn't going to be enough either. And the joint course just seemed like it was the absolutely perfect option at the time. There were other colleges that did similar courses where you could do a course at a music college that was then affiliated with the university, where you could do modules from the university bit, but you only came out of those degrees with 1 degree. Whereas the RNCM Manchester University joint course, you actually get 3 degrees in 4 years. So you do the Bachelor of Music at the university in your first 3 years of doing the full undergraduate degree at the RNCM. And then in your 4th year at the RNCM, you do the PPRNCM, which is the postgraduate diploma, which is normally 2 years, but you do that in 1 year. So you're basically doing 3 complete degree courses, which should in total be 9 years in 4 years. So you kiss your social life goodbye for those 4 years, but it's absolutely brilliant. And there's a world expert in everything, and I do not regret doing that. However, I would, now looking back on myself, have enjoyed my student experience more. I'm not talking about what I learned, I'm not talking about whether it's helped me get to where I am now, but I would have enjoyed my student experience more if I'd done the things separately and I'd maybe gone to university first and then done a college postgrad and had more free time. 2 reasons, both very important. The first one is I basically did no practice for the entire time that I was at college. If I couldn't sight read it, I couldn't play it. I was playing 7-8 hours a day, every day. I got better, but not because it was by any kind of intention. And I do slightly regret that. I think I would be a better player now if I'd done more practice at that point. I've practiced like hell since I left, but during that time there, I just didn't have time to practice. I was just doing too much stuff. And the other thing is that I'd been in a pub until I was 21. I literally hadn't even been into a pub in all the time that I was at university. And I definitely regret that. The whole... No, seriously, it's genuinely, I'm not trying to be funny about it. I think this is really important. I really, really regret that I was so busy during my student time that I didn't have time to enjoy being a student. I was so single-minded and so totally focused on just that thing. For me, the thing that kept me from going completely potty at that point was being in university halls of residence and not the college halls of residence, and being very, very good friends. Most of my really good friends from that time are not musicians. If you are able to learn from people who are not musicians, people who are studying history, who are studying English, who are studying really, really interesting subjects, you'll get a lot out of being a student that way. So for me personally, a university degree, because I'm interested in the academic side of things, would have been great, followed by a college postgrad. I think actually I would have ended up in the same place, but I would probably have had a better time as a student while I was doing that. If anybody else wants to talk to me in more detail about that during the week, please do. Which is not to say, and these 2 are perfect examples of that going to music college is not a good route. It's also not to say that just going to university and going straight into the profession is not a good route as well. It sort of doesn't matter, except that to you as an individual, it's a big, big, big choice. And it's one that is worth thinking about really carefully at this point now.
How did you get to